As we celebrate the start of the Summer Olympics in Paris, we thought, hey, let's take some time to discuss the French language. Did you know, my friends, there are over 300 million French speakers on 5 continents, and French is the second most widely learned foreign language after English. I am joined now by Pauline Chateau, who teaches French language courses with the Alliance Française de Seattle. Enchantée.
Enchantée.
So I have to ask first and foremost, what is the Alliance or the Alliance of France?
It's an organization that promotes the French language and culture in general.
Mm-hmm. And you can do, anyone can go learn French, right, with the Alliance?
Absolutely. We have classes from class for students who are only 2 years old, for any level, any ages.
I love that. So you yourself are from France. What brought you to Seattle?
Well, first, my husband is American, but Seattle because I feel like there is an interest in French language, really, and the culture in general, a lot of French schools.
Are there any similarities between Seattle and Paris?
There are different cities for sure, but I feel like both very innovative and dynamic cities, and certainly an interest for culture, arts, gastronomy, of course.
Of course, gastronomy is big, I guess, in both. That does create a big similarity for us. Let's talk about when it comes to people coming to learn French. What are the driving factors? Is it because they're going to France or just the desire to learn another language that just sounds so beautiful?
Yeah, for sure. Like you said, it's a world language, so it opens a lot of doors to travel, but also on the international job market, for sure. And just like you said, people who are curious about the culture, the language, they like how it sounds, and they want to be able to speak a little bit when they travel to France.
So Seattle in itself has the 4th largest Alliance Française programs in the country. Why do you think French is such a popular language to learn here in Seattle? Is it because we have so much international travel?
I think so, for job opportunities, for just being able to travel, and a lot of families want their children to speak a foreign language, and French is very popular.
I chose French because I liked the way it sounded in high school, and then I later took Spanish. But again, I took a little French in high school. I was wondering if you could give us a refresher in maybe some of the everyday terms that are good to know.
Well, we have to start with bonjour, which is
Bonjour.
good morning, hello. And if you want to pronounce it properly, don't say bonjour, don't pronounce the N, just say bonjour. It's very nasal. Bonjour.
Bonjour.
Perfect.
Well, I have a nasally sounding voice, so I think I'm good. And bonsoir is good evening?
Correct.
Okay,
Yes.
but you can say bonjour any time of day, really?
You can say bonjour any time, and then
Okay.
maybe bonsoir late in the evening or afternoon.
Okay. Yeah. And so in French, you do not pronounce the final letter of a word if it's a consonant. Can you explain what that means?
Yeah, in French we have a lot of silent letters, especially at the end of a word. The S, for example, when it's plural, it's never pronounced.
Yes.
So, for example, we never actually say crêpes. We say crêpe, even if it's plural. Yeah.
Or like toujours.
Toujours.
Is toujours. Oh, or enchanté. You're not in English. If you read, it would be like enchanté, enchanté, but enchanté, no e. I see. Okay, but that is not a consonant. That is a vowel. But that, nonetheless. So to sound more like a local and less like a tourist, you say do not pronounce the S's. But are there any other tricks that we should know overall when speaking French?
Well, there's the R that can be a little tricky, but you can practice by gargling with water. Actually, it's an actual pronunciation exercise that I give to my students.
Do you? Okay.
Yeah, and all the nasal sounds are very French. So if you can practice that, it sounds more like a local.
My Spanish teacher in college had a very hard time with me because he said I spoke Franish because everything I pronounced in Spanish had a French accent, and it was very difficult. Do you find that sometimes in some of your other students?
Yes, but the thing is with the R, there's no misunderstanding. There's no confusion if you mispronounce it. So it just sounds like you have an accent, but it won't prevent you from communicating in French, so it's fine.
So there are no barriers.
Exactly.
There should be no barriers for us to learning another language.
Exactly.
You know, I've heard also that learning another language actually helps your brain develop more even as you get older, right?
Yeah, and it helps you also to reflect on your own language. You will learn things about English or whatever your native language is by learning a foreign language. Yeah.
That's fascinating. I know so many athletes right now in Paris are learning a foreign language. Can you go over some of the Olympic terms in French?
We can start with the easy ones, the ones that are very similar in English and French. For example, if I say sport, can you guess what it means?
Sports?
Yeah,
Sport?
exactly.
Okay.
It's just different pronunciation. Athlète.
Athlete?
Athlete.
Okay.
Médaille.
Medal?
Yeah, perfect. And then pays means country.
Oh, okay, okay.
And vainqueur, that's the winner.
Oh, vainqueur, like the victor.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Vainqueur. I like that. I'm gonna get a shirt that says that. I have to ask, can you explain how learning a language can be intimidating, but especially if you've been out of school for a minute, like I have. You believe though that anyone can really learn at any age. I mean, is that really how you feel?
Yeah, we tend to say that you should start early on at a very young age, and maybe it makes it easier, but really you can start at any age, any point in your life if you're motivated, if you're curious about it. Again, we have classes for any level, any age, and it's very rewarding. Yeah.
It really is rewarding.
Yeah.
Sounds like so much fun. Thank you so much for sharing everything that you've shared with us today.
Of course.
What is your favorite place to visit in France?
I love to go to Paris, of course.
Yeah.
I also like to go to the countryside to have maybe more like an immersed experience, just to try the different food everywhere. And I'm originally from Normandy, so I really like Normandy.
I was going to ask you, like, do you have a favorite place? Like, I know the south of France is beautiful, but is there like a favorite beach you love?
I like the beaches in Normandy, but also in Brittany. They are very wild.
Brittany.
Yeah.
Wild beaches in Brittany.
Absolutely.
Well, you're welcome, everyone. We have introduced you to something new, I hope. Merci beaucoup.
Merci.